Ladies and gentlemen, won't you please join us on our cinematic journey as we watch the spectacular and the craptacular. Welcome to Movies with the Man. I'm Murray.
I'm Justin.
And we are reviewing the fantastical film Zardoz. Let me give you a description here. In the late 23rd century, a savage trained only to kill finds a way into the community of bored immortals that alone preserves humanity's achievements.
That description, the movie is so much more and so much less than that description.
Yeah, 100%. Directed by John Boorman, written by John Boorman. He did other stuff like Excalibur, Deliverance, the General Hope and Glory. Stars Sean Connery, Sarah Kesselman, oh my God, I can't read, Charlotte Rampling, and John Alderton. Those are main cast.
You forgot to mention John Boorman's crowning achievement, The Exorcist 2.
Oh, I had that on my other notes, and I didn't have. I forgot that he did Exorcist 2, The Heretic. Yes.
A movie that makes Zardoz look Oscar nominated.
Did you read any of the behind-the-scenes stuff about this movie? Because boy, oh boy, was there a lot.
Yes, I did. I read all the trivia I could find on it.
Some of the stuff that I found interesting is there's a rumor that's floating around about Sean Connery's contract, not just in this movie, but in movies in general, where if he felt the need for the love scenes with women to go on longer, they went on until Sean Connery said they were done. What?
Yeah. On the other side of that coin,
are you talking about Charlotte Rampling?
Rampling looking extremely forward to the sex scene, and she complained that it was over way too fast.
Yeah, which it is.
Blink and you miss it.
We'll get to the sex scene. It's not even really a sex scene. How this movie works is that you're like, wow, what is going on? This is weird. And then later you're like, what is going on? This is weirder.
You keep expecting it to come together and make sense.
Oh, I think it did. It speaks about humanity. Those people lost their humanity, man. That's what it was. And he was bringing it back to them.
Yep. And
bringing back their souls.
Yes.
This movie is about saving people. He was Jesus.
I guess.
I will admit I'm reading way deeper into it than I think is necessary. IMDb 5.8, Letterboxd 3.2, Rotten Tomatoes audience score 49, Rotten Tomatoes critics 53. Now I could have those reversed. I'm not sure.
I mean, they're both pretty close.
Yeah, and then Google, which I was astounded by Google's rating of 68, and then Amazon is a 4. And I was like, out of 5? I was like, what? And then Just Watch was a 64 also.
Those are all over the map.
Yeah, 100%. I still am. When I found that Amazon one, I was like, is this right? I clicked on like 20 things to make sure I had a score from them that made sense. Because I was like, 4 lies. But Letterboxd is 3.2. And that means there's a lot of people giving it 4s and 5s. I gave it a 4.
I read this is director Ben Wheatley's one of his favorite movies. That might explain.
It's in the Razzies book of like
top 100
worst movies.
I found this quote. This is from Empire Magazine in 2007. Called it a fascinating reminder of what cinematic sci-fi was before Star Wars. The hodgepodge of literary allusions, highbrow porn, sci-fi staples, half-baked intellectualism, and a desire to do something revolutionary but failing and missing the mark. But its badness is compelling.
It is. I agree.
I do too.
I agree. It is compelling. I think I found it more compelling than you did.
Yes.
But here's something I want to talk about. The very beginning of this movie, a movie has problems when the studio interferes and says, "Hey, no one can understand your movie, so at the beginning, you need to have something explaining your movie."
Yes, put in a 2-minute prologue to explain what the hell's going on.
A guy's floating head explaining the movie. And I'm going to be honest, I listened to it intently the second time I watched this movie, and I still was like, I guess that's what this movie's about. These people really thought they were making...
They thought they were making something revolutionary and very important.
And was saying something, yes. At one point, they had this quest for immortality, and they figured it out. But through this journey into immortality, they started finding themselves losing
their humanity.
Yes, they no longer became aroused. They no longer had, well, basically feelings, or it didn't seem like a dream no more.
Yeah, no longer had a need for sleep.
Yeah, that's right. They didn't sleep no more because they had achieved a certain level of consciousness
It said it combined the conscious and the subconscious.
And basically, the whole movie centers around Sean Connery weasels his way into breaking into the area where they live, because the apocalypse has happened, and there are people who live out in the what they call the Outlands.
The Outlands. And the Eternals live in what they call the vectors.
Yeah, the vortex.
Vortex, sorry.
The vortex. And there's two types of people who live out in the regular part of the world.
In the Badlands.
There's basically the exterminators, and then there's regular people.
The brutals and the exterminators.
Well, but that's the thing. That's what I thought was interesting, is that when he comes to the vortex and is with all the people who are higher beings and all that, they refer to the Eternals, they refer to him as one of the brutalists.
Right.
And to them, to these elite, you're all peasants. To me, it showed that they're all kind of douchebags.
Yes. And basically, there's a large section of these Eternals, all they want now is death, the release of death.
Yeah, they're tired of it, which is kind of the whole focal point of the whole movie. He's through manipulation over time, he is brought, not him specifically, but they did things to kind of push the exterminators to a certain point to where they finally, with his character, with Connery's character Zed, they basically pushed him over the breaking point to where he wanted to challenge Zardoz in the vortex. He brings Connery in, and one lady wants to study him, and another one wants him destroyed. And the woman who wants him destroyed realizes that he's going to cause problems within the community, which he does 100%. He basically destroys the whole community,
right?
Which is why the other people wishing for death brought him there. They like to serve his purpose.
And in this group of Eternals, you can't be punished with death, but you can be punished with old age.
Aging. They can age people.
And not let them, and make it so they don't die.
Yeah, so they would age people into Alzheimer's, basically.
Right.
And then go stick them in a building by themselves where they're all acting like rabid animals. By the way, they call them renegades.
Uh-huh.
And the scene where they show all of them in the house where they're keeping all of them, why are they all dressed in tuxedos?
They're dressed like it's the 1920s party.
Yeah, like they all went to a party.
At the Overlook Hotel.
Yeah. Because if I'm not mistaken, one of the characters, friend, gets turned into one of the renegades by the group after they...
Oh my gosh, that scene.
So there's a round table where they're all eating, and he starts arguing with Consuela, who's basically the leader. Then they end up going to level 2 meditation. They stick their hands out and wiggle their fingers.
Jazz hands.
And
they keep going, woo.
Yeah, and they're all looking at him. And he keeps saying, I will not go to level 2 with you. And then this happens until he passes out.
Right. And he looks like he's dead, but we know he's not dead.
But then you find out that they turned him into one of the renegades and put him into that house. And he, too, is wearing a suit.
A tuxedo.
And it's like, why is he wearing a suit? Like, why do they dress them up when they take them there? It's basically like a mental institution where everybody dresses in fancy clothes. I don't understand it. It made no sense.
And then there's also another offshoot of the Eternals. They're called the Catatonics, I think.
The apathetics.
Apathetics, yes. And where they just basically stand around and don't do anything. They
have no reaction to anything, which Connery, when he gets brought to them to see them, grabs one of them to take them as one of his women, and they do not react to him, which makes zero sense to me, because later on, although, no, it does make sense, because... So the woman he grabs to try to like do stuff with does have a slight reaction to him. And then later on, when he comes back, when he's trying to hide from everybody, she's the one who walks up to him, and then like, does she kiss him? I don't remember.
No, she goes
touches
up
him
and touches
with a finger.
His sweaty face.
Yes.
And pulls off a drop of his sweat.
That's right. And then everybody started tasting his sweat, and then suddenly they started coming back to life.
Started waking up, yeah.
And they said, we get our life from you. I want to go backwards, though, towards the beginning of the movie. You got to understand, folks, the first 5 minutes of this movie, I mean, I know we're all over the map, but Jesus Christ. The first 5 minutes.
We have no choice. This movie is all over the map.
The first 5 minutes of this movie is literally a head like a giant statue of a head floating through the air.
Yeah, a giant disembodied head floating through the air.
While a bunch of guys wearing that disembodied head as a mask scream Zardoz. Zardoz, and they're all riding around on horses and shooting people.
And they're all topless, and they all have on a cloth codpiece.
Yes. And Zardoz talks. And one of the things Zardoz says is ridiculous. The gun is good. The penis is evil. The penis shoots seeds and makes more life to poison the earth with the plague of men. And then he spits a whole bunch of guns and bullets out of his mouth out for them all to get their guns and all that stuff. And that's where Connery sneaks onto the
ship.
That's what it is. Because that's what it is. The ship shaped like a head. It's a whole Wizard of Oz thing, which we'll get to later. Because oh my God, I cannot.
Yeah, the Wizard of Oz ties into this. Believe it or not.
So I mean, there's no sense in going through this whole movie piece by piece because you're not going to understand stuff. I kind of want to talk more like we've been doing, where we talk about some things that stick out to us, like when they decide that they're going to study Zed, they put him with the character Friend, and he's going to go work for Friend. And as Friend is walking him through and introducing him to everything and all that, there's a scene where Friend talks to a bunch of people in reverse.
Yes.
I thought something was wrong with my TV and the audio was messing up. So I rewound it like 20 times.
I did the same thing,
believe it or not. I was like trying to look at captions to see if anything was on there. I went to YouTube and found it, and people played it forward and in reverse. I still don't know what he said.
Yeah,
makes no sense.
It doesn't sound like a foreign language. It sounds like gibberish.
No, it's literally reversed. But there's no purpose to it. Like he just looks at these people and says, and then they all go,
and they all clap. There's applause.
Yeah. Supposedly he says a poem is what he says or something, which again would make no sense because he just looks at these people and says, I'm going to do some poetry for you out of the blue. That's one of the things that really just stuck out in my head. I don't know. Do you have any highlights? Like I like the scene where they're going through his memories and they just have him laying on a table. And they're just
probing his memory.
Yeah, but then they find out that he's got at least enough mind power of his own to where he can block what they can and can't see because he's stopping them from seeing that he killed what was his name? Zardoz, basically. Arthur, yeah. He killed Arthur. Well, he didn't technically. He shot him. And then Arthur jumped off the head when they were flying through the air. But that's why they're probing his memories, because they're trying to figure out what happened to Arthur, and they know he had something to do with it. They also want to know how he made it into the compound.
And that's May is the one that wants to study him. Consuelo wants to just destroy him and get him out, because it's like you said, she knows he's going to disrupt
She's not wrong. She's 100% right. The thing is, I feel like they were both right. Like, Consuelo was right. He was going to destroy what they have created. But I felt like May was also right because she wanted to study him. They haven't learned what's been going on out in the world in so long. And they still don't know everything. So I kind of understood both points.
The scene at the end I find is very interesting, where exterminators have broken into the land of the Eternals and they're killing all the Eternals. And a lot of these Eternals are grateful that they're being released from immortality.
Oh, they're asking to be killed.
Yeah. May and a few others have already ridden off. I guess they're going to keep being immortal. Zed and Consuelo run off to just live together.
Yeah. Okay. So we're all, like I said, we're all over the map. At the end of the movie, what Justin's talking about is Zed discovers what is giving them their power. He discovers how to defeat it. I've seen the movie twice. I still don't know how he defeated it.
It's called the Tabernacle. I think it's more of he's not physically inside of it, he's mentally inside of it.
No, I got that. Let me explain to you how I wrote this down in my notes. The Tabernacle appears to be a mere funhouse where they project weird stuff on the screen while Sean Connery runs around for 4.5 minutes screaming, Tabernacle! Tabernacle! And then starts just randomly shooting at things. And eventually,
he shoots a glass and it shatters and it bleeds.
It's an image of him as his warrior self, which at this point in the movie, he no longer is this warrior self, because a few minutes before this scene, all the women that are helping him used osmosis to transfer all their knowledge into him.
Right, and they leveled him up.
How you can tell that he's now cultured is that he no longer wears his exterminator clothing and is now wearing regular clothing. One of the things I observed through the movie, and he seemed more caveman-like in terms of how he moved around and how he acted. And then once he got like the end of the movie where he gets cultured, he doesn't act like that no more, which he does at one point out, I'm no longer that man. But they do this, and the way the scene is filmed is he's laying like on a table. It starts off with a woman who's butt naked, just rubbing her hands all over him while they are, again, projecting weird stuff all over him. And the women are like waving their fingers around him and they're chanting knowledge out loud while weird projections are all over the place. Because apparently this is what makes things trippy in sci-fi in the 70s before Star Wars is weird projections on the screen.
Right. Psychedelic images.
Think Willy Wonka the boat ride, and that is what is on the screen. And from there, that's where he ends up figuring out where the tabernacle is. He goes there and, like I said, runs around screaming tabernacle around a fun house of mirrors, and then shoots himself, and it bleeds, like Justin said, and somehow that is how he defeated the tabernacle.
Right.
I guess. I don't understand. I don't like, and then not only that, when he got out of all of this stuff, the women who were helping him, which, oh my God, we've jumped over so much stuff. Like how when Consuela made it into the building and was getting ready to kill him, she stopped just before she did it because she realized the thrill of the hunt was more exciting than the actual kill. And
I got the impression that she couldn't.
No. He says the thrill. When she stops, he says the thrill of the hunt's better than the kill, and she broke. Her humanity has came back, and that's why she looks at him and says, she's like, "I will love you. I will be with you." She's like instantaneously like, "I will be yours forever," because she suddenly got her humanity back, like out of the blue. But what I don't understand is after the tabernacle gets destroyed and they're leaving, Sean Connery has the ability to reverse time, because as they're walking out of the building, he's pushing his hand out, and the people who are with him, he tells them to stay behind him in his aura. And then he reverses time. All the people who are smashing things and trying to get into the building to kill him start going backwards and start flying back up where they were and all this other stuff. And then he leaves, and then they run back in, and he's not there no more. Why did he have the power to reverse time all of a sudden? I don't like it.
Unless somehow he got leveled up even above where the Eternals are.
He figured it. That's what I was wondering too.
Because
like
the Eternals have the power of telekinesis, but maybe, which
they did talk about earlier in the movie. They tried to ascend even higher but failed, and maybe he figured it out and he ascended higher than the tabernacle, or to the maybe he was the tabernacle now. I don't know. Dude, I don't understand 90% of what's going on in this movie.
Right. Yes, at the very end, the reason I went to the last scene is because at the end, after Consuela's pregnant, it's just a series of shots of them getting older.
So they kiss, and then it just cuts real hard to her being pregnant and him sitting there. Birth. Imagine a portrait where a mom and a dad are on each side and the kid in the middle. That's how they're sitting as you're watching the screen. And it shows him and her, she's holding a baby. Then it fades to them older, and now they've got a son in the middle, and they're older.
Like an 8-year-old.
Yeah, and then it fades, and now he's a teenager or a young man, and they're older. And then it fades, and he's gone, and they're real old, and they're holding hands. And then it fades, and it's my favorite part. It's their skeletons.
Yes.
What?
With the long
hair.
Old hair.
Yeah. Whose idea was this? I read that part of the problem was that they wanted to do it way better than that, but they had issues and had to do it like real quick last minute. So the makeup was terrible. The way they faded it was terrible. They had to shoot it all like quick.
Well, what I read about this was filming that whole series of shots was a very difficult and long process. Like it took a whole day to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And they did it, and Connery hated it.
Mm-hmm.
And and then something happened and the film got destroyed.
Okay.
So they had to go back and do it.
That's why they had to redo it.
And then they did it a second time, and then a film tech apparently accidentally exposed the second roll of film, and so Borman went to Connery and says, "We got to do it again." And Connery thought he was messing with him. He's like, "Get out of here!" And when he kind of convinced Connery that no, we got to do this again, Connery went after this film tech, and they had to be pulled off of it. He was
Good
so
Lord.
upset. It really sounds like in the 70s, Connery was just allowed to run crazy throughout.
I think they let men run crazy. and like before 1980, I think men just got to do whatever they wanted.
I think so.
Like as long as you made it to a certain level of power, you were just given well, it's still that way. I mean, let's be real. So what'd you give it, Justin, out of 5?
Out of 5, I would give it a 2.
4.
Yeah.
For as ridiculous as this movie is, man, I loved it. I loved how ridiculous it was.
On the rewatch, my enjoyment of it did not go up any.
My wife heard me say out loud, "This is going to be amazing," and I thought it was. I thought it was great. I loved it.
I feel like it offers a promise of a really cool sci-fi movie, but it never delivers it. That's just kind of how I feel about it. It left me flat.
I don't know how to explain it, man. I like it.
Well,
I like
cool.
what it questions. I like that it questions things about like what makes us human and what.
And there's some deep philosophical issues in there that they're trying to get to.
And I think they do it in the most ridiculous, terrible way.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed every second of it.
So apparently they were filming this around a town in Ireland, and apparently the drug use and the hedonism was off the charts for the cast and crew filming this movie. So much so that the census of this town, the birth rate went up, the population went up by 15%.
I read that.
And they the government had to dispatch a mobile STD truck to help deal with all the sexually transmitted diseases that were flying around this place.
So this movie, Connery only took it because he was desperate for a film. They paid him nothing. I thought it was interesting that the movie cost like $1 million to make, and he was paid $200,000 of that million.
Yeah.
Like, good God.
Yeah. Which was a huge pay cut for him. His previous movie was his last
million is what I think he got paid.
It was
on
the last
movie
James
before
Bond
that.
movie. He had Diamonds Are Forever, I think.
There's other things they did on this movie to cut down on cost. Things what I find humorous about it is Sean Connery used his own car and drove himself back and forth during production, but he got paid to do this half of what a regular chauffeur would have got paid. So he still got paid to drive himself.
That's so hilarious. You only have to pay me half what you'd pay a chauffeur, and I'll just drive myself.
And then I read
which makes me think he was pretty desperate for cash.
Oh, well, 100%. And like, you know, the thing though is like for everything you hear about him that he's a douchebag, then you find out that like, you know, he stayed at the director's house and paid them rent. Then it said that he helped out on the set with stuff when they needed help. And it's like, but then you find out all these other things. It's like, yeah, but he's still.
I have a feeling he was capable of both ends of the spectrum. He could be really cool if he wanted to be, and he could be a total a-hole if he wanted to be.
So some other things about the movie. The movie's set in 2293. They originally wanted to set it 5 years into the future.
Yes.
So this movie would have been set in the 70s. Which, by the way, someone needs to explain to me, why is it that every like post-apocalyptic movie, excuse me, I shouldn't say post-apocalyptic movie. I should say, why is it 70s-ish era, 60s era sci-fi? Why was it always the future, but somehow the past?
Right.
Like that's how it always comes off.
It's set way in the future, but it looks like the 1970s.
Yeah. Other things about this movie, Burt Reynolds was offered this role, but apparently he was not able to take the role due to illness. He said he was overworked.
I have a feeling he got a case of, I read this script and it looks terrible. Itis.
I can't imagine how I would like to see this script. I would love to read the script for this movie because I bet it's an incredible read. Other things about the movie, too, is that they used wide open lenses when they filmed this. Lots of fog filters on the
I read
cameras,
this.
lots of smoke machines. And as a result, later prints of the film caused the film to look like absolute garbage. That's one of the things I did notice watching it. Is like it does look of its time, 100%. It looks like it was like old film.
And it looks very misty, very foggy the whole time.
Yes, everything does.
I read that John Boorman played the farmer that Zed shoots.
I saw that.
And he got...
Oh, yeah.
He got some of the
wad that they put in the gun.
Yeah, it's lodged in his head. It took several days for it to get removed, or it fell out. That's hilarious.
That's about all I got for this movie, Justin.
Yeah, me too. It was an interesting movie to watch. I can't say that I'd recommend it.
I would highly recommend this film to people who, if you want to watch something that's absurd, ridiculous, and yes, crappy. This is your film. I mean, you have to have the right mindset for it. Do not go into it thinking you're going to enjoy this as a good, like a genuine good film, because it's not. It's craptacular.
Yeah, you got to go in with the right attitude. And I couldn't get there. Not for this one.
Well, I'm sorry I got there. All right, thanks, folks. Thanks for listening. I'll catch you in the next one.
Yep, catch you next time.
We hope you enjoyed the show, but it's time for us to go.